Israel actually got established, right? So we know the story: the Jews, Holocaust, World War II, Hitler. They needed a place to stay. United Nations, 1948. Here you go, Israel. Boom. Okay, that's the official story. To better understand the Palestinian bid for membership in the United Nations, it's important to understand the original 1947 United Nations action on Israel-Palestine. The common representation of Israel's birth is that the UN created Israel, the world was in favor, and then the U.S. government establishment supported it, and then that's all wrong. Okay, so in reality, while the United Nations General Assembly recommended the creation of a Jewish state in part of Palestine, that recommendation was non-binding and never implemented by the Security Council. So that was the Security Council was the fight, right? They signed it, they go on it, it fucking becomes, you know, a policy. But if they don't act on it, nothing ever happens. So the United Nations actually wasn't in favor of it. There was a non-binding resolution. A non-binding resolution, meaning this is our public stance, but since we don't have any force, then there's no teeth to it. So we was able to write the damn law, sort of like the United Nations human rights. So we have, you know, the United Nations, they went ahead and give out all these human rights that we have, but that's not legal tender. It's international law. Who enforces international law? I don't see anybody. And so that's just whatever freedoms we have in the state constitution, the federal constitution is all the rights Americans have. So if there's more rights in the United Nations Charter for human rights, those are not our rights. And actually there are several rights in the United Nations Charter that we don't have. And so we're limited in our freedom, or at least our guaranteed, constitutionally guaranteed freedoms. So okay, so what they been implemented by the Security Council is a non-binding resolution. Second, the General Assembly passed that recommendation only after Israel proponents threatened and bribed numerous countries in order to gain the required 2/3 vote. So you need 2/3 of the world to fucking vote for this shit. Well, how you gonna do it? Well, you gotta fucking pass gifts and bribe and intimidate the entire fucking world, right? Third, the United States administration supported the recommendation out of domestic electoral considerations. So because of the population, because of AIPAC and lobby and all that shit, not because, you know, it's the good decision, not a good moral decision that'll make the world a better place, but because the fucking politics and the United States administration, 47, that's Truman. So Harry Truman, he's sitting there saying, let's go ahead and create Israel, but the State Department, the CIA, and the Pentagon, the military, that's the war complex, that's the military-industrial complex. They said, no, don't fucking do it. The CIA said, don't fucking do it. And the State Department. So basically, all the smartest fucking people all around Truman said, don't fucking do this Israel shit. They went ahead and did it, and then it started an Arab war, and then Israel's been fucking, you know, killing people and defending their right to exist for a long-ass fucking time. It started out a very progressive, a very, you know, exciting fucking place to be, but now they're fascist, right? They're fucking just jingoist fucking war fucking fascist. So let's carry on. In reality, you know, it was a non-binding resolution. It wasn't implemented by the Security Council. They threatened and bribed a lot of fucking countries in order to get the votes. And then the Pentagon, the CIA, and the State Department was all against it. So the biggest fucking organizations in America are totally against Israel. Pentagon, CIA, State Department, right? The world's not in favor of it. They're pushing, you know, America just putting all their influence in order to get this Israel state created. So for some reason, somebody thought that this was going to be a great fucking idea. Let's see. The passage of the General Assembly recommendation sparked increased violence in the region over the following months. The armed wing of the pro-Israel movement, which had long been preparing for war, perpetuated a series of massacres and expulsions throughout Palestine, implementing a plan to clear the way for a majority Jewish state. So, while they were talking about passing this thing, then you had pro-Israel fucking people just killing as many fucking people and clearing out as, you know, just like the Native Americans. In order for the white people to get it, you had to wipe out all the Shawnee, Ute, Cherokee, get everybody out. And then you could have the land, right? And actually, who are we fucking helping? The people that we helped, Daniel Boone, you know, the fucking Christopher Columbus, and even Jackson, who was like supposed to be the fucking people's man. They're fucking aristocracy, rich fucking people that have all the fucking power, right? So that's I don't associate myself with these people. It's hard for me to fucking do it. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that's what they're doing, right? That was the idea, actually, sort of Iraq. Wipe out the government, reestablish something new. So completely wipe it out, put something else in there. And, wow. Okay, so the passage of the General Assembly recommendation sparked increased violence. So there are fucking, massacres, expulsions throughout Palestine. It was this armed aggression and the ethnic cleansing of at least 750,000 indigenous Palestinians that created the Jewish state on land that had been 95% non-Jewish prior to Zionist immigration, that even after years of immigration remained 70% non-Jewish. And despite the shallow patina of legality as partisans extracted from the General Assembly, Israel was born over the opposition of American experts, of governments all around the world who opposed it on pragmatic and moral grounds. Let's look at the specifics. I don't want to look at the specifics, but that's, you should, if you want to get into it, but that's the general fucking story, right? That's the general understanding of why is Israel here, where did it come from, and why do we give a shit? I want to look up Palestine, because how long has Palestine been here? And part of them, they'll say, well, it says the Bible, Israel was here in the Bible. That's, written a long-ass time ago. And Jesus wasn't a Jew. Jesus is, he's a Christian, right? He's for himself, so he wants... and they don't like Jesus. I don't even understand why Christians defend Judaism when the Judaism people don't believe that Jesus was a prophet, right? Or he was a prophet. He was a nice guy, but he's not God. So makes no sense. Makes no sense. Why would Christians side with Jewish people over Muslims? Why would one religion side with an opposing religion ever? Sarah Palin just fucking loves Israel. Israel's just the best fucking place in the world. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about Israel. It might be a fucking wonderful, happy, fun go. But I've heard that there's racism, there's segregation, there's fucking genocide. I mean, this is all fucking bad shit. So, no, I just want to know Palestine. Not the conflict, just Palestine. Okay, so the history of the conflict. So why are we in this fucking war today? It just came out recently that the 3 Israeli teenagers were kidnapped by Hamas, and they were so the justification, what had happened, it was like a month beforehand. They get a fucking, they get all this. They knew that they were already dead, but the Israeli government used all the propaganda anyways in order to get the Israeli people in this fucking war fervor, get them all pissed off and get them ready to go, right? So you got your example, you got your your Rosa Parks, you got your example of some injustice that had happened. These 3 poor kids, these poor teenagers, oh, they were such good boys, right? They did what their mother says. Well, they were living on Palestinian land, so they wasn't, doing what was good and what was right. They were settling in other people's fucking territory, in other people's land. 2-state solution, the whole world agrees with that. Draw the fucking lines. Put walls, I don't know. I don't want to say put walls up everywhere, but 2-state solution. Let them do their own fucking thing. What the fuck? So, boundaries of the region have changed throughout history. They're last defined in modern times by the Franco-British Boundary Agreement in 1920. So, Palestine's been there for 80, 90-something years, whereas Israel's only been there for about 40 or 50 years. There's a 1922 during the Mandate period. So, see, I'm talking about Palestine, right? Palestine was a state, and it's been a state for quite some time. Or has. Yeah, it has, right? 1920, we just saw that. So, 1920 is before 1948, so it was a state before then. This is the state of Palestine. The problem will, until people, it's a complicated issue because there's nationalism and state theory and all this other shit, but if you can agree that one person does not have a right to kill another person, then the world, why did Osama bin Laden, why did he start his fucking jihad against America? The occupation of Medina and Medina in Saudi Arabia was one big fucking sticking point. The Palestinian conflict was another big ass sticking point. And maybe just in general, I don't know, but those are the biggest ones. So we're occupying Muslim holy lands, right? We have a military base in Medina, Mecca and Medina, which is the holy cities for Islam, and Palestinian conflict, what's going on in fucking Palestine. You had Robert Kennedy got fucking killed over his support of Palestine by a Palestinian nationalist. Sirhan was a Palestinian nationalist. So, we've had politicians that were fucking, or, could have been presidential material, get wiped out because they supported something really fucking bad. So the Palestinians, it affected our history, right? RFK was You know, up until that point, I'm an RFK man or a fan. You know, I think what the Kennedys were doing would have been really good, but they, you know, there's some war policies there that were not fucking good at all. So, I still like RFK. I still like Robert Kennedy, but I don't hate Sirhan Sirhan for what he did. So, you know, that's his family. He saw his babies. There's this one poem that I was reading, you know, on Facebook, but it was just about a girl, you know, sitting there talking about how, oh, I just need to love America and stop with the hate or whatever. The girl was sitting there saying, let's see, this morning I was living with my family and we got bombed, and then half of my family's wiped out. Or no, I saw my family and then I left, and then when I went back, they were all dead. My mother, kids, siblings, father, cousins, you know, grandparents, everybody. She's alone. She's like Johnny Logan, right, of the American Revolution, the Yellow Creek Massacre, which starts the American Revolution that nobody knows about or talks about. The first battle was Battle of Point Pleasant of the American Revolution. The last battle was the Battle of the Blue Licks. Both of those battles had the white British fucking people against the Native Americans. Both of those battles. So when the first battle and the last battle of the American Revolution is against the Native Americans, it's probably a good indication it was against the Native Americans. They were trying to fucking steal their land. So that's what Palestine is doing. The state of Palestine, its independence was declared in 1988. So I guess they're saying that they've only been a country since 1988. I don't know. I don't believe that that's true. So they talk about the 1915 background, 1920. So, okay. There's a Palestine right now. There's a Palestine today. There's a Palestine been there for a long ass time. What does France and Britain and all these other foreign fucking occupiers have anything to do with what's going on in Israel? Or the Middle East, right? It's their fucking land. The second Hamas-Fatah reconciliation. So this Gaza, Palestine, they killed Rachel Corrie in 2003. They've done a lot of shit, you know. It's been going on for a long ass time, and actually America finances both sides. So we give financial aid to Israel and to Palestine. We give it to both, and actually it only makes up 1% of our budget. So really, foreign aid, people want to complain about giving money. Yeah, it sucks that we give, you know, $3-4 billion to Israel. Meanwhile, Detroit has no fucking water whatsoever. Letcher County has no running water. There's lots of fucking issues that's going on in America that could be using that funds, but that's only 1% of the budget. So if you really care about, you know, saving money or whatever, well, get the things that are expensive and cut those things down, not the food stamp program or the fucking school lunches. You're against food stamps and school lunches, you're an asshole. That's pure and simple. Your government's spending all this money to blow the fucking world up, and you're gonna bitch about, you know, some poor kid in America being able to eat. You're an asshole. Go fuck yourself. That's bullshit. So, you know, yeah, we shouldn't give money to other countries. We should take care of our own first. But really, the fucking military-industrial complex, the empire, the fucking big old fucking, you know, elephant, the octopus that's in the fucking room. We need to do something with that. So, yeah, those kids got kidnapped. But what did Israel do right before those kids got kidnapped? So on April 23rd, 2014, Hamas agreed to a reconciliation deal with the other main Palestinian faction, Fatah, following 7 years of division. Fatah and Hamas separated, right? Hamas was created by Israel to oppose Fatah. The Palestinian unity government was sworn by June 2nd, 2014. June 2nd. So June 2nd, congratulations. Palestine is now unified. And Israel announced it would not negotiate any peace deal with the new government because, you know, they said that it would strengthen terrorism. He's like, they're a bunch of terrorists. I'm not going to support Palestine getting more powerful and getting friends and shit. So as soon as they had a unity government, the Palestinian unity government with Fatah and Hamas combined together, right? As soon as they created a unity government, which is all official, public, out in front of, you know, everybody can see what's going on. Shortly afterwards, the European Union, United States, United Nations, China, India, Russia, Turkey, they all agreed to work with the Palestinian unity government, but Israel did not, right? So the whole fucking world says, work with them. Israel, Netanyahu, who is too good for everybody, don't give a shit. Netanyahu warned before the deal to be incompatible with Israel-Palestinian peace. Abbas has to choose between peace with Hamas and peace with Israel. That's it. Do you want peace with Hamas? Do you want peace with Israel? Right? That's with the reconciliation deal signed, opening the way to the appointment of a new agreement. Netanyahu chaired a security cabinet which voted to authorize Netanyahu to impose unspecified sanctions against the Palestinian Authority. I don't think I'm going to be able to say this in 30 seconds, but real quick, it's the Israeli airstrikes. They had a bunch of airstrikes. Not only is there a blockade and an occupation, but they had issued airstrikes before the fucking kidnappings happened, okay? So, you know, you want to sit there and try to say, well, the kidnapping is bad? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But the kidnappings was in response to the fucking airstrike. So you're bombing the fucking countries, and then they kidnapped a couple fucking settlers.